was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
This is Officer Pablo Vasquez. On September 16, 2022, Officer Pablo Vasquez from the Platteville Police Department in Wisconsin was dispatched to a road rage incident in which a female driver allegedly pointed a gun at the operator of the other involved vehicle. The female suspect is 20-year-old Yareni Rios-Gonzalez, and she's driving a silver pickup truck. Gonzalez is a TSA agent and mom to a toddler. Vasquez requested backup, and Officer Jordan Steinke from the Fort Lupton Police Department in Colorado was deployed.
Dispatch Lupton 346. Show me out with 912.
She was traveling behind Vasquez while they were in pursuit. Vasquez pulled the pickup truck over on a rural road near some train tracks. Trains pass on these tracks about a dozen times a day and often sound their horns. Steinke parked her patrol car behind Vasquez's.
I'm right behind you, Vasquez.
And in court testified that she was surprised that Vasquez was sitting in his vehicle rather than pointing a gun at Gonzalez's truck. With guns drawn, they ordered Gonzalez to exit her vehicle, put her hands up, and walk backwards towards them. Gonzalez complies with their instructions.
Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
She is told to get down on one knee and then the other. Steinke then places her in handcuffs.
Good. Keep your hands above your head.
Don't move.
What's going on? Why am I being... We'll explain everything in a second.
Can I get my cell phone, please? No one else is in the truck, sir. Can I please get my cell phone?
We'll get it for you.
Don't worry about yourself.
Please. Where are you taking me?
We're taking you to the car. Come on.
Why? What?
Do you have anything on you that's going to poke me, stick me, hurt me?
No, ma'am, but can I please get my cell phone?
We'll get your cell phone in a second. Is there any weapons in the car?
Ready?
No, ma'am, there's nothing on
There's
me.
no weapons in the car? Okay.
Everybody out in the car, come on.
What's going on? Ma'am, what's going on?
I'll tell you in a second. Take a seat.
I'm so confused. Can I get
Take a
my
seat.
cell phone?
I will get your cell phone for you. Take a seat.
Once restrained, Steinke places the woman in the rear driver's side of Vasquez's patrol car as it was the closest to her. Then Vasquez, Steinke, and a third officer, Ryan Tomezek from Fort Lupton Police Department, attend to clearing and searching Gonzalez's truck while they leave her unattended. The problem with this is that the cruiser Gonzalez was restrained in the rear of was parked on top of railway tracks. The three officers begin their search for the weapon in Gonzalez's vehicle.
Clear. It took her a long time to pull over.
I got a holster right here in the passenger seat.
Okay. It took her a very long time to pull over. It took her a very long time to pull over. I'm going.
Did you see her toss anything?
She could have, because it took her a long time to pull over.
I'm gonna put my rifle away and I'll come back in a minute.
All right.
She could have, because when I was behind her, she was driving slow enough.
Yeah.
So she could have tossed something, but I literally
Tossed it out the window?
She could have out that window, but who is that Hart?
And you can hear the blaring of a horn, but they don't seem to make the connection until...
No, that's Tom check. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Was she in there? Was she in there?
Oh my god. Yes, she was.
The Lupton officer said, "Hey, train. I can hear it go, you know how they honk their horn? Well, they can't stop."
In this clip, you will observe body camera footage of Officer Tomezek. He quickly becomes aware of the approaching train and moves away from the police cruiser where Gonzalez was confined. While stepping back, he calls out for the other officers to back away just as the train collided with the cruiser.
Stay back!
Catapulting it off the track. The officers can then be heard radioing for assistance as they realize Gonzalez was still detained in the back of the cruiser. Gonzalez saw the train coming and tried to get the attention of the police, She was frantic and couldn't get out because the doors were locked. The front police cruiser's passenger door was still open and she was calling for help as she saw and heard the train barreling toward her. I can't even begin to imagine the terror she must have been feeling, realizing she's about to be hit by a train. This is beyond horrifying. The force of the impact propels the patrol car with Gonzalez in it to roll twice and travel about half a mile or 0.8 kilometers before coming to a rest in a field. As you would expect, the patrol car is demolished. Miraculously, Gonzalez survives, but obviously sustained extensive injuries, including 9 broken ribs, fractured sternum, a fractured tibia or shin bone, a broken arm which requires surgery, broken teeth, a TBI or traumatic brain injury, multiple injuries to her head, skull fractures, and multiple injuries to her back and legs. Her saving grace may have been that she was in the rear driver's side and not the passenger side.
The one good thing is the female officer put her, that's my chief calling me, put her on the wrong side, which was saving grace. Because if she would have put her where the prisoners go.
On the passenger side? Okay, so she put them over there, okay.
First responders attend at the scene. You can hear Officer Vasquez on the phone saying that it was the wrong circumstances.
It was the wrong circumstances at the wrong time, just.
As upsetting and as disturbing as this is, the following clip really aggravated me. It's Officer Temezic speaking to the investigators that have arrived at the scene, and they're trying to find a way to identify the woman. And Temezic is still concerned about a firearm being in the vehicle. Like, a woman just got plowed into by a freight train because you were all negligent, and you're concerned that there may be a firearm in the vehicle? Give me a break. What is wrong with people?
There may still be a firearm in the vehicle. I don't know if you guys have been through it yet. You got it?
I got a holster here. No, we have not gone through.
We weren't sure if she threw it or if it's still hidden in the vehicle somewhere. It took her a long time to pull over, and Platteville said he did not see anything leave the vehicle.
Right now, I just need to find out who she is so we can deal with that aspect of it.
I didn't hear that.
Who's around over there in the door?
Here's Vasquez telling investigators that he didn't think that the officer would put her in his car. Well, perhaps the officer didn't think that you would park your patrol car on top of train tracks.
I didn't think the Lupton officer was going to put her in my car. I just didn't. And she did. She put her in my car.
So what Lupton officer put her in?
The female officer, I don't know.
She's still here?
Here's the applicable law respecting parking on top of railroad tracks.
42-4-108 of the Colorado Revised Statutes provides that, quote, the driver of an authorized emergency vehicle, when responding to an emergency call, or when in pursuit of an actual or suspected violator of the law, may park or stand, irrespective of the provisions of this title. However, the statute also includes a caveat that, quote, the provisions of this section shall not relieve the driver of an authorized emergency vehicle from the duty to drive with due regard for the safety of all persons, nor shall such provisions protect the driver from the consequences of such driver's reckless disregard for the safety of others.
The Platteville police chief advised that the officer from his department that was involved has been placed on paid administrative leave. I call that vacation, but hey, that might just be me. You'll see in this clip, Officer Vasquez previously worked for the Federal Heights Police Department. There were 5 recorded incidents between 2014 and 2020 when he resigned.
We've learned the Platteville officer who parked his vehicle on the tracks has a discipline history with another police department, while at the Federal Heights Police Department, Pablo Vasquez was a sergeant. At the time, other officers accused him of operating with a lack of care for his own safety and the safety of his officers. They wrote he appears to be incompetent and has a lack of compassion for victims. These discipline documents obtained by 9 News were written in 2019 and 2020 before he was hired in Platteville. The documents outline other allegations, including being slow to respond to calls, tardiness, and a lack of preparedness. A Federal Heights patrol commander recommended Vasquez be demoted and suspended for failing to follow a performance improvement plan.
The Platteville department, however, hired him almost immediately after his resignation from Federal Heights. Officer Vasquez is due in court in December. Officer Jordan Steinke is facing 2 misdemeanor charges and 1 felony charge of attempted reckless manslaughter. And are you ready for this? The Fort Lupton police have recommended that charges be filed against Gonzalez and gave a summons requesting the DA actually file charges of felony menacing, apparently, for having road rage and waving her gun. So the suspect gets smashed by a freight train that weighed 11,000 tons, but they still want to charge her for the initial alleged incident? I guess the train smashing into her isn't enough. This woman is severely physically and mentally injured. Imagine seeing a train coming right at you and you're trapped and can't escape. That'll mess anyone up. And they want to charge her? Like, come on. Jordan Steinke exercised her right to a bench trial. That means that there is no jury. Instead, a judge would listen to the evidence and make a decision. Judge Timothy Kearns was presiding over the case. Steinke took the stand and indicated that she did not see any reflective signs or gates indicating a railroad crossing at the time of the incident. Here's part of her testimony.
In hindsight, why do you think you did not notice the train tracks?
There's a few reasons. It was incredibly dark. I was miles outside of my jurisdiction. I was fairly certain that that particular stop was going to end in a gunfight. I never in a million years thought a train was going to come plowing through my scene. I trusted that Sergeant Vasquez's vehicle was in a secure location at that time.
Prosecutors would argue that Steinke knew the police car was parked on train tracks, but did not properly assess the situation or understand the possible danger involved. The judge stated that the prosecution could not convince him that the officer deliberately tried to cause harm to the victim. Judge Kearns convicted Steinke of 2 misdemeanors of assault and endangerment, and she was acquitted of the felony attempted reckless manslaughter charge. Just this past Friday, the 15th of September, Judge Kearns sentenced Steinke to 30 months supervised probation, 100 hours of public service, and she's required to undergo a mental health evaluation.
As a police officer, I never intended for another human to come to harm under my watch. I feel very much responsible for what happened to you that night.
With these convictions, she can never be a police officer again. Judge Kearns said that he was actually considering jail time before he took the bench, but changed his mind while hearing some heavy emotional testimony from Steinke. He says, "When I came out here, I was contemplating a form of incarceration that would send a message to law enforcement that in all circumstances you are accountable. Ms. Rios-Gonzalez has shown that compassion and grace should win out." Apparently, Gonzalez told the judge that she did not feel strongly about giving Steinke jail time. Pablo Vasquez is also being prosecuted for misdemeanor counts of reckless endangerment and traffic offenses, but his trial is still pending. Gonzalez is also pursuing litigation against the police officers involved and their departments to seek compensation for what she said was mishandling behavior during the incident. A third officer, Ryan Tomasic from FLPD, was also named in the lawsuit for failing to help Rios-Gonzalez escape when the train approached. Her lawsuit accuses the police of failing to adhere to railroad signage that offered a number for assistance if there was activity on the railroad. With respect to the action against the Plateville police, she can't sue for more than $424,000, even if her medical expenses exceed that amount because of the Colorado Governmental Immunity Act. In June, Gonzalez entered a no-contest plea for her actions on September 16 and received a 1-year unsupervised probation and avoided a felony charge. The judge in this matter did something that is very unusual. He gave Gonzalez a lengthy apology for what happened to her.
Judge Vigil said, in part, "It's clear to me that the system failed with respect to you, with respect to that. I hope things are going better for you now. And so I just wanted to express to you, I'm really, really sorry that happened. No one should be in that position from my perspective. Just incredibly reckless, negligent, stupid behavior, however you want to put it."
This incident raises critical questions about the actions of those involved and the responsibility of law enforcement agencies. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, practice kindness and look out for your fellow beings.